Last time on Dice Funk.
Hey, Lady Nim, do you think you'd be able to verify that I'm the real Zoey?
She says this is but a shade of jealousy and anger and resentment. It has memories, but there's only a fragment of a soul.
I know you're not a child in mind.
You don't have to be a child in body either. Has anyone seen Carrie King? She's supposed to be here. I haven't seen her all night.
What's the word for brown for hair color?
So it is not that anymore. Your hair goes Super Saiyan.
Hey, Winnie, I opened a box full of ghosts. Do you know anything about boxes full of ghosts?
What is it you do for a profession?
My husband was the necromancer. I'm an osteomancer.
It's a bone mancer.
Nothing can leave Ilium.
Including the souls of those who have departed. In order to keep the Ilium from being overrun with the souls of the departed, he concocted a means to contain them. The necromancer Hawthorne has been dead for some period of time.
I mean, I'll leave it to your judgment, Rolen.
In either case, if it's possible to get any clarification from the Warden about what to do, that would be helpful.
If you just wanted to be left alone, why did you throw a party?
I told you, it's for the skeletons. They've served me faithfully for decades. So every once in a while, I just let them kind of enjoy themselves.
How did you acquire that staff? It's a particularly fascinating item.
It's kind of a long story. And standing there is Claudia Rock. And behind her oozes in Robin Rock. I can't believe we didn't just try busting in the window the first thing. That would have made this whole thing a lot easier, huh? And you were caught between Cloud Skeleton Warrior and rival bounty hunters.
We're caught between some rocks and a bony place here, it looks like.
So how white are we?
I mean, I'm Sicilian, so that doesn't count, so...
Wait, is my pasty ass literally the least white person here?
I don't know. I was just playing.
Like I said, I'm Sicilian, which...
I'm Puerto Rican.
My last name's Larios, which sounds really Hispanic until you find out it's European Spanish, so...
Oh, does that count? No. Maybe.
I was conceived of in Mogadishu, though, so does that give me anything? In a way, I'm kind of African.
No. Actually, no.
In a way, a very, very small way.
I missed a lot of that, so I'm going to assume it was something like vaguely uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Based on Austin's reaction.
I really want to delve into that, but we are pressed for time, so we got to start our fun magic adventure of wizardry and stabbings.
Sure.
So what I think is important is that we find someone in our group to be the scapegoat, and we blame them for everything. I volunteer Leon for this position.
All of this is getting cut anyway. There's no point. There's no point. None of this is in the show.
It turns out we're all the secret of Ilium. Oh, but it's going to be cut, so it doesn't matter, right?
I mean, I'm definitely going to leave that part in about you claiming to be African. So, I mean...
Well, why would you cut it out? Come on.
I mean, it's just truth that people need to know.
Yeah.
We got canceled right in the middle of recording. I just got the message.
Oh, dear. Not again.
So, last we left this adventure, you guys were on the second floor of Hawthorne House. On one side of you was the Rocks, the rival bounty hunting group, Claudia and Robin Rock. And on the other side of you was this skeleton made of a bunch of mismatched parts that are kind of loose and flying around on this floor. I've referred to it in a bunch of different ways, but I'm going to give this thing a name now so we can refer to it more easily. It's called the Caretaker. That's what this character/creature is called now. But it's a skeleton, but all the bones that go to it don't go to the same skeleton, so it's all like... So it's a kind of Frankenstein together is the idea, but it has a spine sword. And it is holding it out as if to attack the intruders who have just burst through the window, which are on the other side of you, so you're between these two groups. The Rocks kind of straighten themselves up, dust themselves off. Claudia says, Thanks for taking care of the skeletons in the yard, guys, and made getting in the window much easier.
Fairly obvious what you two are doing up here.
The skeleton has a sword. You should just go back out the window. There's nothing good up here.
Claudia basically ignores both of you, and she says, have you guys found the necromancer yet?
No, because the necromancer is no longer here.
At this point, the caretaker steps forward with his sword. It's pretty excited to attack people now.
Is it facing us, or is it facing the rocks?
It does not know that you are not together. As far as it's concerned, you're all intruders.
Well,
Does it have any sort of way that it's looking, though, or like by body language? Does it look like it's going to attack them first or us?
Insight check?
My insight is a 5. I naturally botched that.
Yep, you botched. Zoe, you think it's about to attack. You have no time to do anything but react instinctually. You have to save everyone now. They're all about to die.
All right, this worked out well the first time, so I'm gonna cast magic missile again.
Oh no, I didn't even have the wild magic thing up because I thought surely this can't get buck wild this soon.
Well, you know what? When you botch this early, you kind of had to just let things go as they will.
Damage first.
All right, so that's going to be 3d4 plus 3, 13 damage.
All right, Zoe, you turn and start magic missiling the caretaker. And once again, as the different missiles hit it, it kind of breaks apart and loses some of its structure. It loses some time pulling itself back together, although you don't seem to be permanently damaging it because this entire floor is filled with flying bones that can kind of just reform. But you buy some time. In the meanwhile, let us see what you get on the wild magic table.
I rolled a 3.
Oh, boy.
No.
I don't like that reaction.
This one's really good.
Oh, okay, good.
No, this is actually really, really good. So when you shoot out your Dragon Ball Z blast, pew, 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 and you start shooting it, the magic that forms these balls kind of just, it kind of radiates around and through you. You become kind of like covered in just magic. And you feel like a surge of power within you, and you gain a new spell.
Oh, snap!
This is exciting, Chris. You just basically cheat coded yourself into more spells.
I do what I can.
Let's see if it would be great is if it's a spell level you can't even cast yet. So you know a spell, but you can't actually cast it because you don't have enough power yet. That'd be the worst.
All right, so I went and got the book.
Okay.
Yep.
The spells in the book are from page 211 to 289. So pick a number between there.
A number between what exactly?
211 and 289.
288?
I told you this magic is wild.
That is very
maybe
wild.
further in the book, maybe further along as you go in the book, the better the spell is.
It's alphabetical, you dork.
Aw. Then pick zebra.
The strongest of all spells.
Yeah.
All right. So don't look at the book. There are 4 spells on this page. Pick a number 1 through 4, and you get that spell.
3.
All right. So you have just learned the level 3 spell, Wind Wall.
Ooh.
The description of which is a wall of strong wind rises from the ground at a point you choose within range. So when you get those slots, you'll be able to cast that.
Now, I do have 3rd level spell slots right now.
Oh, heck. So now you know Wind Wall, and you can cast it. So yeah, you're overcome by this glowing magical energy that surrounds you and infuses you as you surge with wild magic. And you suddenly feel within you the power to make a wall of wind.
F yeah.
Two of the 4 spells on that page were 9th level spells.
I know. And then I really liked the idea of him knowing the spell Wish.
Oh, the one that just fucking changes reality? Ah!
Yep.
What would that have been? 2?
That would have been 4 on the page, but that would have been a 9th level spell, so you wouldn't be able to cast it until...
But I would just know. It'd
have been like knowing the formula for like an atomic bomb. Like you have a paper, you understand what the numbers mean, but you just don't have the depleted uranium.
Damn this time we live in.
So congrats, you actually picked up a spell you could use immediately.
That is pretty dope.
So that's what happens, and the caretaker is stunned, and it has a moment where it's not going to be able to do anything. Anybody else?
I want to Eldritch Blast it.
See how the most powerful cantrip rolls in this little fight here.
6 and 6.
All right, so there's both miss wildly.
Woo!
As Theodora turns around and holds out a hand, it starts using Eldritch Blast, which is kind of just like a streak of weird evil force. It's very Lovecraftian. magic bullets, basically, and they just go in between the gaps in the caretaker and slam into the wall, and now you're just putting holes in Alice's house.
I'd like to think Dora's also very sleepy.
Okay, there's no reason for that canon, but...
It's been a long night.
Yeah, it's been a long night. I'm full of ghosts. You don't know my life.
And speaking of ghosts, I definitely should have reiterated at the beginning of this that every single square inch of this place is ghosts.
Yeah.
They're not interacting with you physically, but it's just, there's a ghost filter over this Instagram.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Can I attack the skeleton?
You can do whatever you want.
Alright, Bumbershoot says, I gotta do this myself. And, but, oh, so bad. 8. I did not hit him.
No, you just, so you just run forward with your rapier, you pull out of your cane, and you just stick it right between the ribs.
Good shot.
Because this is a cartoon now.
Why not?
At which point, Claudia and Robin just walk past you guys fighting the skeleton.
Where do they think they're going?
Rolen is not going to attack the skeleton, but rather back up into Alice's room and sort of try to block the doorway into there.
Oh, okay. So Rolen runs ahead of them to try to keep them from getting to Alice, and you block her door with your body?
Yes.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Since it seems like nobody's been able to hit it, I think Zoe's basically just going to continue, like, going Super Saiyan, like, further and further, so I'm going to cast Magic Missile again.
Really?
Yeah, like, I mean, come on. There's,
Okay.
like, they're shooting the walls, they're cartoonishly zapping no, I don't, cantrips, fuck that. I got DBZ laser blasts.
Your cantrips are more powerful because you're level 6, so they do double the damage they do normally.
And I would like to point out that none of my cantrips let me shoot out Dragon Ball Z laser blasts, so
He's got you there.
I'm gonna go with that.
Listen, if you want to roll this again, let's go.
I want to do this. Let's bring it on. I got a spell last time. I'm gonna keep rolling. All right.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna cast it again, and that's gonna be 10 damage.
You put a bunch more holes in the caretaker. It's like not having a great day.
Good. Fuck him. Hope his day sucks.
I mean, Firebolt will on average do more damage than Magic Missile.
Skitch, it's not DBZ anime beams.
Okay, D20, Chris.
3 again.
No, I haven't replaced 3, so you gotta go again.
Damn it. All right. 4.
Well. Okay.
Oh no.
No, it's... Oh, jeez. Okay.
Bring it.
Zoe, you
Bring it.
extend your hands and just shoot more DBZ blast at this guy, and you're just ripping him to pieces. And then suddenly, your final blast is not energy, but a fountain of maple syrup. Which you fire hose all over this dude in an unstoppable stream as you have maple syrup blast hands now. And you can't stop it.
Is this maple syrup permanent?
You don't know yet. Right now, both of your hands are magically spouting maple syrup like a fire hose.
I like to think, because her hair changed last session, so she's got Super Saiyan hair now, and she's just been firing these blasts out, that she's, like, in that mode of just, like, the Dragon Ball Z style of just, like, ah, that she doesn't even care that it's fucking maple syrup shooting out of her hands now. She's still, like, just firing with the same intensity and anger, and she'll realize later on that it's maple syrup now.
Is the caretaker still on its feet, or did that, like, blast it into a bunch of pieces, at least temporarily?
I mean, every time someone hits it, it is reduced to kind of pieces and has to pull itself together comedically.
Okay, I kind of want to do something then.
Yeah, just be aware, now it's also hella sticky.
That's fine. When it becomes just bones before it comes back together, I want to wrap it up in my cape and just, like, tie it up into, like, a bag so that it can't keep turning into a humanoid-sized, foe.
You can do that. I just want you to be aware it's going to ruin your cape for it to be filled with maple syrupy bones.
I understand that, but Bumbershoot's desire to stay alive is even more important than his desire to be fancy.
Sleight of hand, I guess, to just snatch all the bones out of the air and throw them into your cape.
13.
Yeah, so you get a pretty good cape full of bones.
I nod it, and then I just... I don't like how this feels, but this is just something I gotta do.
Yeah, you now have a sticky sack of bones.
Yes. I'm gonna put that on my equipment list.
I mean, that's a phrase right there. So the three of you guys have kind of pacified the caretaker for now.
I mean, I didn't do anything.
You missed, but it was moral support that counted.
It was fun.
Yeah, the three of you have kind of conquered this pretty dangerous foe for now. Back in the hallway, Roland, you're facing down the rocks. They kind of regard you with an arched eyebrow. Claudia's real. Robin's very exaggerated and gooey. And Claudia says, What are you doing?
Roland just sort of sighs and he says, I told you already, there is no necromancer here.
Okay. Well, then move? If he's not here, then why are you standing in our way?
You can easily look over me or around me to see that he's not here.
Behind you, the door actually opens, and Alice pokes her head out because you guys are shooting holes in her walls up here. And she says, Oh, what? Oh, no. Who are you now? More friends?
Not exactly. Other bounty hunters.
All right, y'all need to get out of here. Everybody needs to leave. Party's over. Please.
I mean, Roland's just sort of looking to the rocks to see what the reaction is to her saying that.
I mean, they peer over your shoulder. They see kind of an old lady, not all their image of the necromancer they're here to see. And so they actually turn around and they just open the other door and they look in that room and there's nobody in that room. So they're like, all right, Roland, what's going on here? If you're so smart, you have it all figured out.
Well, I said that the necromancer isn't here anymore. If I told you much more, I mean, I would be helping out a rival bounty hunting group.
Yeah, we're not expecting you to do it for us. I mean, if you got him already, you can go. We're not going to stop you. It's just you're being weird. Beating us fair and square is one thing. Being weird is weird.
This town is weird, okay?
What do you mean? As like fucking maple syrup is still shooting out of my hands.
Yeah.
Dora licks some of it.
I still have a few questions I wanted to ask her briefly before we leave, though. Alice sort of, he motions to Alice.
If it'll get you guys to leave, you can ask your questions, I guess. She like looks around for the caretaker and she says like, "Where's the skeleton that cleans the hallway?"
I want to go into the room with the currently unlocked box, and I want to put the bag of bones in the box, and I want to close the box, and then I want to lock the box.
Oh, damn.
That's so mean.
I mean, it's a little mean, but it's also probably the best idea Leon's had in like 80 episodes.
I won.
Yeah.
Bumbershoot looks at himself and he goes, hero.
All right, so you open up the containment unit in the other room and you just throw your sticky sack of bones inside and they're all still like, I was going to say jingling around, but that's not the sound bones make, rattling around.
They're clattering and undulating at the same time. Yeah.
And not undulating. Nope, don't like that one.
My God.
But they're all just moving around and they're trying to do something and you just throw them in there and close the box and you just start closing padlocks on it. You do notice though that like the last wisp of ghosts have exited the box.
Yeah.
And the enchantment's broken, so it's now basically just a box.
Yeah, that's fine.
But it's a locked box, so you have that going for you.
I guess.
So back in the hallway, Alice has said to the rest of you, like, where's her skeleton?
So quick clarification. Are my hands just still unconsciously shooting out maple syrup, or is that stopped?
No, it's still in the background of the scene. You're just constantly spraying maple syrup.
I'm gonna try, like, if I, like, close my fist, does it just shoot out of, like, the cracks of my fingers?
Yes.
Bumbershoot decides to lie, and he says, the skeleton went on vacation.
Alice says he shouldn't be able to do that.
Bumbershoot just shrugs.
Okay.
Your caretaker was reacting to them. Roland points over to the rocks.
To be clear, the caretaker did react to you guys when you came up.
Yeah, you're lying too. It's great. We're all lying.
I'm not lying.
He reacted to all of us. It's trying to kill us.
I didn't say that it didn't react to us. I said that it reacted to them.
Fair enough.
It's a very lawyer answer, and I'm very much into it. But for the time being, let's just say she's accepted Bumbershoot's lie.
Okay.
Because it was very funny.
Right.
But she says, listen, if you have to ask me questions before you leave, ask me your questions and then leave, please.
I mean, are the rocks still standing there? I mean,
they want to hear what the questions and answers are.
I don't want them to be around when I'm asking the question, so...
Dora's gonna say to Zoey, hey, maple syrup them.
Sure! And I'm gonna maple syrup them.
All right, so Zoe, you turn your maple syrup cannons on the rocks.
Oh God.
She's like, "Do you guys like pancakes?"
At which point, Robin stretches into like a huge wall, basically, to try to block the spray so it doesn't hit Claudia. So you're just syruping this gelatinous cube wall, and he's just getting filled up with syrup. So he's like a light greenish color, and it's like becoming darkened from syrup as you kind of fill the goo monster with other goo.
Okay, this isn't working. So,
I mean, it's doing something. You're. I have no idea what yet, but
okay. But Bumbershoot says, "All right, now this isn't going to get us anywhere." And then I'm going to try to use vampire control on the rocks, and I say, "Let's the three of us go downstairs and have a drink."
Persuasion. I would say advantage because of your vampire control, but it's actually the advantage of that cancels out with the disadvantage of trying to persuade an active hostile foe to stop what they're doing.
That's fair.
So it's a regular persuasion.
20.
All right, that's pretty good. So you suggest to the rocks to go downstairs and have a drink with you. They're still looking for a target. So once again, persuasion checks aren't mind control. They aren't immediately bent to your will. But Claudia says, "Listen, if he's not here, then you wouldn't mind us just looking around, and then I guess if he's really not here, we'll go look somewhere else. I don't like who are you, lady?" And Alice says, "My name's Alice. I live here. This is my house." And Claudia says, "Are you a necromancer?" And Alice says, "No." And Claudia says, "Well, Roland, you have that zone of truth, right? Would you mind? We could just get this out in the open right now."
Nope, I can't cast it. I've used up all my spell slots, so...
Can you pretend to cast it and just make theremin noises?
He's not going to do that.
Okay.
Roland just shakes his head. It's like, I've tapped out most of my magical reserves for the day, so I wouldn't be able to cast that at this time.
So your gods abandoned you? That was quick.
That's not even an accurate interpretation of what I said.
Listen, I don't know anything about your church nonsense.
You know about magic, though. You understand how magic works and how spell slots work, right?
Well, in universe, we don't say spell slots, Roland. Because that doesn't make any sense for the world we're in. But yes, I understand spell slots. I'm mostly giving you a hard time because that's my character.
I know. I giving back sass because Roland doesn't have any patience for that. So.
Can I try to angle my like maple syrup thing to like arc over the blob wall to hit Claudia?
Oh my God.
They were interpreting this as kind of like a playful assholery, but if you're going to go like above and beyond and out of your way to
I'm not trying. It's not like I'm actively trying to like shit on their parade, but she's being kind of mean to Roland, who's like the only person who's really been super cool to Zoey thus far. So
I nearly had them with my vampire powers, and y'all got to keep throwing syrup.
Oh, that's right.
I do like the image. I just want to be clear that you're escalating it. So like this is going from a joke to like seriously stop. You can 100% do it. I just don't want it to come as a surprise.
No, I think if the impression I'm getting is that Roland is like playing along with their kind of like back and forth, then it's fine. I just thought she was kind of just shitting all over him by being like, "Oh, your gods abandoned you."
So in the Roll20, the image I have for Claudia Rock is Connie from Steven Universe. I might need to update that to like the most shade Rihanna picture or something because she's way sassier in my imagination. So I'm going to do that soon so everyone gets a clear picture of that character. She's going to be rude as often as possible without being mean.
Dora's gonna say, "Well, you guys can just sit up here and talk to this old lady as much as you want. I'm gonna go downstairs and look for the real necromancer." I'm gonna roll deception.
Yeah, you are.
I rolled a 15.
All right, so that's pretty good. Do you want to sell it by leaving?
Oh yeah, I'm going downstairs anyway. I have my own plan.
All right, what about you, Bumbershoot? You also were trying to get them to go downstairs. If you both leave, that's much more persuasive.
Yeah, I mean, that's his plan. I mean, he has nothing else to do up here. He doesn't even care about this lady. I don't think he was entirely aware of who she is until they said, because he was busy making ghosts.
Yes.
He was busy making ghosts, yeah.
That was a thing. Have the ghosts dissipated, or are they still all over?
No, it's all ghosts all the time.
Okay, then Bumbershoot says, "I hate having all these ghosts in my holes."
Yeah, and ghosts peek out of all of your holes simultaneously and on cue.
I should hope so.
as Bumbershoot and Theodora leave the second floor and just walk down the stairs, after looking for the retreating Avant Guards to Alice and back a couple times, the rocks actually just shrug and follow. They're not 100% convinced that Rolen isn't trying to pull a fast one, but they also don't want to let Theodora and Bumbershoot get the drop, so they're going to go try to check on you guys. So there's a brief window here where Rolen can question Alice without being overheard.
I'm going to send a message to Rolen before I get too far away using message, my cantrip.
Yes.
And I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to go see if any of these skeletons are wearing this dude's clothes and also get these guys out of your hair. Sorry about the ghosts.
We'll talk about ghosts later. Thanks for being a distraction.
I send the thumbs up emoji.
Roland then looks to Alice and sighs and says, I'm deeply sorry about all the troubles that have been caused during this party, Alice.
I can tell you don't mean anything by it, but this has really been quite unpleasant and unfortunate.
Oh, I totally agree that it has been. But there's one thing I have to do briefly before we move on from here. Roland motions briefly to the Dragonbone staff and says, I was asking you earlier about how you and your husband acquired that. You said there's a little bit of a story.
Yeah, it doesn't reflect very well on Max.
Given what we were sent here for, I will assure you that nothing that you say is going to be used against you in any capacity. So it will not reflect badly on you from my perspective.
Wait, does Ilium have the Fifth Amendment?
I mean, Roland, his mannerism, his presence, it makes it very clear that he is paladin-like. So,
yeah, I just like the idea of you being like, listen, here are the disclosure rules for our arrangement.
She has immunity from the DA.
Right, I mean, like, Roland's saying, this is specifically why I wanted those two out of here, because I can't trust what they will do.
I mean, they didn't seem so bad.
They were likely to take you in, thinking that you were the necromancer that the Warden was asking for.
Well, I didn't do anything wrong, so they can't do anything to me.
I'm aware, but I'm trying to prevent any further unpleasantries.
So, if I tell you this, will you leave? Is this just the one question? Because
almost assuredly, yes. If at most it'd be one very small request afterwards. You have my word.
All right. Well, outside of here, when we actually lived in the world many years ago, my husband was doing his work and trying to help people with his magic, solving problems with spirits, putting down vengeful ghosts, and laying to rest uneasy souls. And obviously there was many people in the world who have prejudices and preconceived notions about necromancy, and we were hassled pretty much everywhere we went. And you have to understand that Max was very protective of me, and when some church folks were trying to run us out of town, things got violent. And so the next town we went to, he knew things would get violent again, and so he stole that. This is a sacred artifact, some kind of relic from some sort of good dragon god. It was blessed by him or something, and it was important to the people. So when they came for us, he was able to defend us. And when we escaped here, some of them came after us, and he defended me again. So, I mean, we owe our lives to this staff, but he did steal it, and he did kill people.
Roland just nods and then says, I mean, it's regrettable that I had to come to those actions, but desperation sometimes calls for certain actions. But as I said, this is nothing that I'm going to hold against you for. The only other thing is, in order to stop the Warden's request for your husband, as it were, I was wondering if it would be possible to present his wedding ring with the sigil as an indication that he is no longer with you.
So that's a pretty big ask. Can you roll persuasion? Because that's kind of a lot to ask.
Oh, I know it's a lot to ask. I was just reading the thing. So it's 17 is the result.
All right, so that's pretty good. So she looks deeply in thought for a moment, as she considers it and says, "So you're going to take Max's wedding ring and then no one will come and bother us anymore?"
Hopefully, I'll have a way of returning it back to you, but it is probably the best piece of evidence I can provide to prove that people are searching for a necromancer that simply isn't there anymore.
I mean, I don't like it, but it seems like the best thing to do, and it seems like you're going out of your way for me, and I can appreciate that, even if you did bring all your rowdy friends into my house and smash a bunch of my stuff and wreck the party.
And release all those ghosts, and yes, I'm aware that there's damages that will have to be addressed here, and I've already promised to help in that regard as well, but hopefully that will come after we deal with this request.
So right now, Theodora has the ring, right?
Right now, Theodora has the ring.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so real quick, during that conversation, Zoe, what were you doing?
Because Robin's no longer there to absorb the maple syrup, I think she probably has gone to the window that the rocks crashed in through and is just kind of like holding her hands out the window so at least the maple syrup doesn't just go onto the floor.
Okay, that is amazing. You're spraying maple syrup out the second story window into the lawn in just a puddle.
Yeah.
That's a brilliant image. Theodora and Bumbershoot, what do you guys do on the first floor?
The skeletons are still around, right?
Yeah, so you guys left them. They were in like a riot at the bottom of the stairs, but as soon as you left, it became boring, so they went back into the other room, and they're like almost exactly where they were when you walked into the party for the very first time, just like standing around, and one of them is playing a piano, and they're just going through the motions of like drinking and talking, even though they're not.
Okay.
It's as if they've been like reset to their factory default, and it's kind of weird.
I want to try something. I want to take off the skull of one of them.
Okay. You walk over and you pluck the skull off of one of the skeletons.
Does its mouth still move, or is it just done now?
That's a great question. You pop it off, and not only is the mouth like still going through the motions of the conversations, but a lot of the skeletons like turn and look at you. Like the ones that are in like visual range, like turn and look to see what you're doing.
Oh, I'm stealing the skull. I feel like I'm not getting my reward. I'm not getting my reward, and as previously established, Bumbershoot loves skulls. And this is a great one because it moves on its own.
So you're going to put it in your bag?
Yep.
Jesus Christ.
So if you remember, the skeletons are going through the motions of the party because they kind of have this very vague echo of like human interaction that they carry with them from their time as mortals.
Yeah.
And so they interpret things in a very basic surface level. So they see like people getting aggro at each other and like, oh, it's a fight to watch, and they see people hugging and they're like, oh, it's dance time. Like they have a very like weird childlike simple understanding of things. So when they see you take a skull off of one of them, as far as they're concerned, you just ripped a head off a party guest and you're trying to take it with you. And so they all flip right the hell out and start running around because you just decapitated a dude.
So long as they're scared of me, that's fine.
Dude, put that skull back.
No.
You can't just be taking people's skulls.
I feel like I am owed a skull.
You ain't owed shit. Put that skull back.
I am absolutely not putting it back.
I'm gonna fill your room with crabs.
The rocks walk up behind you guys, because remember, the whole point of you leaving was to lead them away, and they see this argument, and Claudia says, is that the necromancer's head? What's going on?
No, he's just a dick.
I mean, yeah. Agreed. Where's the necromancer?
I don't know. I'm looking for him. That's the whole point of coming down here. Also, if I knew, I wouldn't tell you. I love you guys, but you gotta think, Claudia.
Robin kind of forms a spout with his arm and just squirts some maple syrup at you guys.
Can I catch it in my mouth?
Absolutely.
Do I have to roll for that?
Dexterity.
I'm gonna duck out of the way.
I rolled an 8.
No, it mostly hits you in the face.
I'm okay with that.
Okay, you have a sticky face now.
I want to investigate all the skeletons to see if any of them are wearing clothes that match the portrait I had of Maximilian.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
So perception to look around. So right now, remember, in this dance hall, there's like 20 skeletons who are just running around in circles like chickens with their heads cut off because they've just seen what to them is a brutal battery and a skele murder.
I rolled a 20.
All right.
Nice. So you look at all of these skeletons in this room, and they're all dressed in like nice party attire, like tuxedos and suits. We talked about this a little bit at the very, very beginning, but they're dressed as if they're at like a jazz club, and it's very nice. And the portraits you've seen of Maximilian are kind of more stereotypical robes, like stuff that obviously like a necromancer or a wizard would work in, but also like doctor scrubs crossed with necromancer robe, and none of them are wearing that. And you saw some of those clothes in the master bedroom when you searched.
Okay.
So no, you do not think you have seen any skeletons in this entire house dressed like Max when he was alive.
Dang.
Do any of them have a cape?
No. Garrick did.
Oh, please go steal Garrick's cape. Also his cake.
Do we see him anywhere? I mean, he walked off in a huff or something.
Zoe blew his hat off, and after being snubbed and left alone because Lady Nim left, Carrie never showed up, Blood Mountain never showed up, Noe left. Like, there's basically just skeletons, and Garrick seems like he got tired of being disrespected and abandoned, and he also left.
Oh, he didn't go to the cellar to drink all the wine?
I mean, you could go check. Literally, if you don't need to roll anything. You walk and peer down into the cellar, and he's not there. And the rocks are just following you around.
Is there any food left in there?
In the cellar? Yeah, there's food in here because what the skeletons come down and get it, and they take it to the kitchen, and they cook it, and then they leave it for Alice.
I want to take some.
Let's just loot the entire place. I mean...
You guys want to loot this entire place?
I just want something to sop up this syrup with, and also I'm hungry.
I guess if we switch our plan to just looting the rocks, we'll get impatient, so maybe we should do whatever... I mean, once Rolen has his information and comes downstairs, we should leave, right?
Yeah.
You want to roll investigation to loot this place for valuable stuff?
I will. I will definitely roll investigation to loot this place for valuable stuff.
I want to roll investigation to loot this place for delicious snacks.
All right, so give me 2 looting rolls.
I rolled a 10.
11.
All right, so neither of those are stellar looting rolls. You guys go down to the cellar, you grab a wheel of cheese, you grab a wine bottle, you don't know if it's good or not. The rocks are kind of like watching you, and they're like not sure if this is part of your investigation or if you're just jerking them around. And then you guys walk around into the kitchen, maybe try to find some more silver. You had average rolls, so you guys don't find anything particularly scintillating. But as you're going through the drawers looking for silver to steal, the rocks kind of get fed up with you and start walking away, at which point, for the first time, you notice ghosts seeping through the ceiling as they start to fill the first floor.
Oh, nice. More ghosts.
Well, not more ghosts, just the same ghosts. Now they're spreading out. Zoe, on the second floor, you also notice they're coming out the window now because you're standing out there shooting syrup into the yard, and now the ghosts are starting to float away. As far as you can tell, it's whatever the enchantment was that held them in the unit was also kind of keeping them there for a little bit, but as that has dissipated, they're now like, oh, we're just free to go. So they were kind of being clumped for a while, but now that they're basically just free-range ghosts now. And so from the epicenter of Hawthorne House, there's just an expanding wave of ghosts emanating out.
I just want to make it clear that Dora considers this a win.
Okay, this is a very good prank.
Not only is it like the best prank, but it's something that would probably please Ganny.
Oh, yeah.
So Dora's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna steal this wheel of cheese. There's ghosts everywhere. Everything's good.
I want to just try, like, if Zoe tries casting one of her cantrips or something like that, like if she tries to cast Gust, does a spell come out or is it just still maple syrup?
All right, so you're going to cast Gust?
Yeah, like she's just, again, her hands are like just facing out the window towards the lawn.
Yeah, and you shoot a blast of wind out of your hands, which carries away with it the last spurt of maple syrup as you kind of clean those lines out and your hands are hands again. And the maple situation has resolved itself.
Well, that was weird.
So Alice looks at Rolen and says, will that be all? Can I go back to my life now?
That is all for the time being. Hopefully the next time I'm here, it is to, well, help repair some of the damage that has been caused here.
That's very sweet, but I'm always looking for things for the skeletons to do. I mean, they can patch up the holes in windows and...
If you insist, I'm more than happy to offer that as. During my routes around the town, I tend to do small jobs like this, so it's not a problem on my part, but if you prefer it otherwise, then hopefully the next time I see you, I'm able to return your husband's ring to you.
Oh, that would be wonderful. Thank you. Also, if any other necromancers entered the town, we really should get the ghosts back.
Yes.
Obviously, people who have passed on but haven't entered the afterlife are in a kind of terrible, tormenting limbo.
Mm-hmm.
Having never experienced it myself, I don't know how much I can speak to it, but my understanding is Max's life's work helped them achieve some sort of rest in between now and when we can finally figure out how to get them out. And just having them out there is not going to do anything good for this town.
Well, hopefully we can do it, and hopefully it can also help put Max's soul to rest in a more complete manner.
Thank you.
I
hope you rest well then, Alice. Zoe, it's time for us to go.
But before Zoe leaves, she's gonna go up to Alice and she's gonna be kind of rubbing one arm and looking down to the ground like the scolded child would kind of look, and she's gonna say, "I'm sorry for all the damage and stuff that I may have caused. It wasn't intentional, I swear."
That's okay, child. It seems like your friends are good people at heart, and it looks like everything worked out for the best, so don't worry about it.
If you decide to have another party, maybe I could come and entertain your skeletons.
I'm sure they would love that. Thank you.
By the way, do you know if maple syrup is good for grass? I'm asking for a friend.
What?
I gotta go.
That's a good cutaway.
The Avant Guards regroup at the bottom of the staircase. Some of you have pilfered items, I guess. But the first thing that Rolen and Zoe notice when they get down to the first floor is that the skeletons are going berserk down here.
Dora's gonna say immediately, "Hey, Rolen, he stole a skull."
No, I try to put my hand over her mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Roland's gonna say, "Why are the skeletons panicking?"
It's a new dance craze.
Roland's gonna look Bumbershoot right in the eyes, dead in the eyes, and point at him accusingly and just say, "The skeletons here would not be panicking unless something caused them to panic."
I feel first of all, I feel like Dora should back me up, but whatever.
No, I like fucking with you.
We're mischief buddies. This is not cool.
You called me a busy little sausage.
It was great. Everyone loved that line. What are you talking about?
It was great.
I'm going to say, Bumbershoot says, "I did vampire magic, bat stuff. They didn't understand."
I'm going to send a message to Roland and be like, "He stole a skull."
Why? Why would you do that?
Because she likes fucking with people. That's her whole deal.
I know, but
sick prank, bro.
Roland just sort of puts his hand on his face, rubs his soul, and says, "Listen, if you're going to steal from a widow, it would help if you didn't steal the party guests."
Does that mean I can steal other things?
No.
Oh, it just sounded like that was what you meant.
No. It's not what I meant. Does Bumbershoot have a bag or something they stuff the skull in?
Yeah, I imagine that it is moving around inside of it.
I would suspect that's the case too. Everyone's like,
I'm gonna take it out and sort of punt it away.
Oh my god!
Fine, there.
Well, that's a bit extreme.
Yep, it sure was.
As you punt away the skull, it hits the ground clacking comedically, and then the skeletons see it. Which to them is, I guess, a disembodied head, and it does not calm them down. And as these ghosts fill the first floor, the rocks come over to you guys, and Claudia says, "Listen, I don't know what you guys are into or what you're doing. You're all a bunch of weirdos, and I think you're messing with us. So we're just going to take that lady in, and if it's not the right lady, then the warden will let her go."
Bumbershoot doesn't exactly know what's going on because, he wasn't part of all this, so he just kind of shoots Roland a look like, "Are we going to let this happen?"
Dora's gonna say, "Guys, we have a rapport. Me and you. Trust me, that's not the lady, because I already would have taken her. Also, please leave the lady alone. I ruined her ghost box, and I kind of feel a little bad about it. Not really, because they're fun, but just leave the old lady. Let her be old in peace."
Claudia says, "If we go back up through the window and try to grab her, are you going to stop us? Is that where we are right now?"
Yes, that is where we are right now.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Can I try persuasion?
Well, I want Rolen to roll intimidation if he's going to say that. With advantage because you guys outnumber them.
Plus, he's very big.
Intimidation's actually one of the skills he's not good at all. He has a -2 to it.
Oh.
I got a 4.
Oh no.
Yeah, not great.
Rolling's not intimidating, but...
That's fine. Claudia just says, listen, there's professional courtesy, but if we try to get past you and you attack us, then the warden sends us after you. You know what I'm saying? You can't attack other people. So you're kind of in a bind here. You can't really stop us without becoming criminals yourselves.
But we already completed the mission.
Oh, do you have the necromancer in your pocket?
Oh my god. Pull out the skull. Oh no, you already punted it. Never mind.
The skull's clacking on the ground like 5 feet away.
The necromancer has already been dead. He is not here, and therefore there is no one to actually take in for the request.
Oh. That feels like it would have been really simple to say a while ago.
I already said earlier that he wasn't here.
Yeah, I thought maybe that he was like in another castle or something.
I didn't want to say that her husband was dead in front of her like that, okay?
Oh. You're too thoughtful for your own good, dude. I'm just trying to get paid here.
So are we, but it's hard to get paid when you have no mark to take in.
Everyone has their own reasons. Everyone has their own stuff going on. And she kind of looks to Robin with meaning, but like not obviously. And she says, I can't afford to let you guys stop me. So for the future, if there is a mark, we're gonna take them.
I'm aware. The only reason why I was trying to stop you is because the mark isn't there.
Okay. I just want things to be clear between us.
They're more than clear enough, Claudia.
She looks around, sees that the skeleton situation is perplexingly rowdy, and she just shakes her head and just takes Robin, and they walk out of Hawthorne House, convinced of the truth of your statement, because that they searched both floors pretty thoroughly, and you guys seem to be leaving without anyone.
Roland's going to look to see if he can find the skeleton that does not have a head on it currently.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he will place the skull back on its neck.
All the skeletons throw their hands up in jubilation.
Oh.
He has risen.
Is that skeleton Jesus now?
Now they're going to be getting like the dance scene for like one of the Blues Brothers or otherwise, where it's just like a church scene.
Yeah, they all like hold hands and do ring around the rosy around this guy because you have resurrected him. These skeletons are just the weirdest little dudes. I love them very much. But yeah, you've brought order back to the party as much as it is a party. And Dora has the ring.
All right. Well, we have something to take into the Warden at least.
So as you guys go to walk out of Hawthorne House, all towards the door, I guess in a cool Reservoir Dogs team shot, the ghosts that have been spreading across the mansion, a lot of them have left. It's pretty actually thin in here as opposed to just the total saturation of the second floor. But one ghost floats down in front of you guys with some deliberation, very specifically as if to block you with his ghostly body. But you can't really tell any features because of it's like a translucent human form. These aren't like just like see-through people.
Mm-hmm.
Do we walk through them?
The only thing I'm trying to get what I have in my arsenal. I got like lay on hands and some other spells. I'm like, I can't use those to interact with the ghost, can I?
Not that I know of. Ghosts are kind of a cool thing in D&D in that they are actually really hard to interact with. You usually need a silver sword or some kind of magic.
Mm-hmm.
So that they're no joke, but this one doesn't seem to be attacking you. It just floats down in front of you and regards you, and you'll have to walk through it to get through the doors to leave the party.
I have silver knives. Does that count?
So you did steal silver from the kitchen. You know what?
Yep.
So yeah, you do have a silver item. It's not any kind of special D&D weapon, but it is for flavor silver. So yeah.
Does that? No, I'm like literally asking. Like, does Bumbershoot know whether or not that would work with communicating with a ghost?
I mean, you're undead, so I'm not going to make you roll for undead knowledge. You know that silver interacts with ghosts, and you know you have something silver. That's what you know.
Okay. In that case, Bumbershoot takes out a silver knife and says, "Back off, ghost!"
The ghost kind of floats backward away from you and gives you room.
Yeah.
And it's just staring like dead into you now, Bumbershoot. But it got out of your way.
Good. All right, I'm leaving.
Is that you, Max? Is that you, Mr. Hawthorne?
The ghost turns its attention away from Bumbershoot to Rolen and just stares dead into you.
Roland just sort of stares his back, and then, I don't know, like insight or religion are the only things I have in my arsenal that could possibly glean things from this situation.
Insight is fine.
16.
Nice. So yeah, I mean, I don't think this is an incredible plot twist, but
Right.
yes, you think this is probably Maximilian Hawthorne's ghost regarding you. And since you actually didn't do anything to menace or harm Alice, it is not hostile. It is not attacking you. It is keeping an eye on you. But it seems like, as was established, he was very protective of Alice, and you guys acted in her best interest. So this could be if you had run up and punched her in the face and tried to carry her off, maybe.
This would have been worse.
Yeah, maybe he'd be inside of you right now, eating your bones or something. But right now, he's just kind of staring you guys down.
We'll try to do what we can to return your items back to Alice, and to keep the other bounty hunters away from her.
The ghost just stares at you.
Mm.
It doesn't seem like it has a lot of personhood right now. It just seems to be like acting on an instinct and emotion.
Mm-hmm.
But it heard what you said.
And Dora's gonna say, sorry for opening the ghost box. My bad.
When you draw attention to yourself, Dora, it looks at you, and then it sees you wearing his wedding ring.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
And just kind of reaches weakly out at it.
Oh.
Not like menacingly, but just like extends a hand.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. We're gonna get it back if we can. We just gotta show it to a dude.
You do what you must to protect Alice. Roll simply regards, and then heads on out with the others.
All right, so you guys leave Hawthorne House.
Yeah.
And as you do so, you see the ghost of Maximilian Hawthorne standing in the threshold watching you go. And after you get to like the gates outside the house, the doors untouched swing close. And you have returned the house to its master, in a way.
In a way.
And you guys see right now this image of Ilium, of this charming little village with all these tiny little residential areas, and then the one big hotel. And you see in the very center the huge tower of the sacrum, and you also see just a flood of ghosts going all across the sky inside this shimmering Aurora Borealis type force field around the town. And it's like, in my mind, it's quite an image because it's like dark now, and there's just this ghost streaking across the sky, and the background's like shimmering rainbow colors.
It sounds like it'd be appropriate to have like the ending music to Poltergeist or some other sort of, film with like the children's choir singing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's appropriately spooky but melancholy.
Very spooky Latin
Yes.
in the background. But I assume, unless there's any objections, you guys go straight to the sacrum, which in universe is kind of a combination of sacred and sanctum. Although people were very quick to pick up on some of my naming techniques this season. It's hard to hide things when your audience is very smart.
Yes.
That's something I've noticed.
Yeah.
I feel like if I was just playing this with like 3 or 4 of my friends, like none of my jokes would, like maybe once in a while someone would pick up on something, but since there's like 1,000 people tearing apart every episode, everything's almost immediately dissected, which is cool. It's just like makes me have to up my game. It's just quite a thing. But you guys walk to the center of town. There's this huge white tower. It isn't segmented into like obvious floors, so you don't know how many floors it is, but it's the tallest building in the whole town. There's the orb on top, which does the day-night cycle, and there isn't any windows along it. And as we've talked about before, it looks kind of like a lighthouse. That's the vibe it gives off. It has kind of a church-esque front door, so like 2 big doors with like rings to pull. So if anybody wants to say or do anything before you go in, now's the time.
It might be a better look if you're not actually wearing the ring, Dora. Just saying.
Fair point. I'm gonna take it off.
All right. All right. So you guys enter the sacrum. You open these big doors and walk into the tower. And on the first floor, once again, since it's kind of a very tall building, but not a very wide one, so there's only like 1 room per floor. And the bottom floor is very simple. It looks kind of like a small, it looks like a small chapel, like a Frontier Pioneers Day chapel where they would have like school classes for like the neighborhood kids or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's like 3 rows of pews on each side, and then there's like a pulpit where someone could talk from. But it's like very small, very cozy. And you see in this room, there's only one figure, and he's sitting in quiet prayer in one of the pews as you guys walk in. This character, you guys all know, is the Warden. That's what everyone calls him, although that is not his like given name or anything.
Mm-hmm.
The figure has kind of statuesque features, like very well put together, you would say.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a silvery skin, like perfect complexion, like long, luxurious hair. And he has a kind of purple priest robe on, which is has a huge lump in the back because he has wings that he just kind of threw the robe over. And as you guys walk in, the Warden finishes his prayer, stands up, and goes to greet you. And everybody in the room knows this, but now all the players know that the Warden is an angel.
Neat.
Mind if I do a religion roll real quick to see if I can ascertain which deity it's associated with primarily?
Oh, I mean, the reason that
Mm-hmm.
Rolen like trusts the Warden and like does what he says without question is because Ilium and the surrounding areas, as we've established, really only has the triad in religion.
Mm-hmm. At the very least, we have the triad and Ganador.
Ganador is kind of the one outside of religion that you might need to keep track of because of Dora, but like in the area, it's the triad. So the Warden is a follower of those gods. Torm, god of duty; Tyr, god of justice; and Ilmater, god of suffering.
I'm going to say Bumbershoot is always uncomfortable around the Warden for those reasons.
Oh, yeah. I mean, even if even if you didn't want to be, I think I would probably suggest it strongly.
Yeah, well, I assume.
And the Warden doesn't like you.
That's cool.
And he's very upfront about that. One thing you guys know from your interactions with the Warden is that angels are incapable of lying. They absolutely cannot, under any circumstances, lie. That's just a thing about them. And they also know always when someone is lying to them.
Fuck.
I imagine there was a bunch of like early interactions where Bumbershoot tried, to be Bumbershoot, and he was like, "No, don't do that. I know." And that you guys, ever since, your guys' interactions are pretty negative. But we'll see how he interacts with everybody else. But you guys walk in,
okay.
And the Warden stands up and he says, "Welcome, welcome, my children. Brother Hawklight, how have you been?" And he walks forward to embrace you and just like give you like priest hugs.
Roland reciprocates and then sort of sighs and says, "It's been a interesting mission, to say the least, Warden."
Of course, the burden of justice is heavy, Brother Hawklight. Sister Theodora, how are you today?
I mean, I feel pretty good. How about you?
Every day in the Triad's light is a great day. Who's your friend? He just ignores Bumbershoot, by the way. Just pretends as if he's not there.
This is a newcomer to Ilium. Her name is Zoey.
Oh, the child, I've heard. How are you finding our town?
Zoe's eyes are just going to be like wide with bewilderment because she is seeing a physical angel in front of her for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
So I imagine this is a bit beyond like a normal level of comprehension, somewhat for, I guess, like the average person of this world.
Yeah, this is absolutely not normal. Let's be clear, Ilium is weird as hell.
She's like, but you got a lot of weird people here. Nice.
Hello, Sister Zoey. Let me know if you need anything. I'm here for any assistance I can aid you.
Thanks.
It's no problem at all. I live to serve. How can I help you guys today in this beautiful night?
Well, we have some answers for your latest request.
I didn't see you bring anyone in. I thought this was more of a social call.
The situation is that there may be no one to actually bring in. You requested for us to bring in the necromancer, I believe, Maximilian Hawthorne, right?
Oh, I didn't know the man's name. I just heard there was dark sorceries going on in town, and thought it best to take the opportunity to ensure that didn't go unanswered.
Well, we were able to investigate at the party, and it just so happened that the necromancer, Maximilian Hawthorne, has already passed away, for some time, at least it seems.
Look, we have his stuff.
So you stole a dead man's stuff?
No, we were given permission by his widow, Alice, to present you his ring as evidence of his passing.
Oh, I see. Now, this widow, is she conducting dark sorceries?
The request specifically was for necromancy, and she is not engaging in necromancy.
I sense something else behind your words, Brother Hawklight. Is there something else you wish to unburden?
The situation is a little bit more complicated, if only because of, well, the state of Ilium as a town. I'm not sure if you are aware that spirits of the departed can't even leave the boundaries of this town.
As you say that, ghosts start floating into the sacrum through the walls. Just a couple, but he looks up and sees them and says, "Oh dear, what have you done this time?" And he looks at Bumbershoot very specifically.
Oh, it was actually me.
Maximilian Hawthorne had worked with some magic that would be considered possibly apocryphal by some, to devise a means to contain and provide rest to the spirits of the departed who could not escape Ilium. His wife simply provided their remains a way to still have a connection with humanity and still persist and have enjoyment in their afterlife.
It seems as though you have undergone a great test, Brother Hawklight. It is, of course, easy to talk of justice, but much harder to enact mercy.
This is a lesson I've learned many times before, and it's one of the reasons why I am here.
Bumbershoot is trying to, shoo the ghosts away like flies.
Yeah.
This absolutely doesn't do anything, just for flavor. That is what's happening.
Yeah, you're, trying to shoo them out of the room, and they're just and now, as soon as you do that and draw attention to yourself, they specifically hove in on you and start to, float into you and just, chill inside your body.
Great.
They're very mischievous.
I guess.
Yeah. And the warden says, "We're glad to have you, Brother Hawklight. Every day you grace us with your presence brings us closer to the light, and I couldn't have expected more from you. Thank you."
As I said, unfortunately this means there is no person to bring in to face their crimes, as you can tell.
That's not unfortunate at all. Justice only needs to be meted out when there's a cause. Just because you have a sword does not mean you need to swing it, Brother Hawklight.
That is true. That is, the teachers of Ilmater are important, and they guide us every day.
Although, I suppose it might be unfortunate for the four of you, considering the way in which you have chosen to spend your time here. I apologize if I have sent you on a wild goose chase and wasted your time.
It was fun.
Do we still get our reward?
I'm trying to think if he just ignores you, because he's not sassy, so he wouldn't, sass you back.
We had a contract, and I just want to know the end of it.
I have an idea of what he would say, which would be just even worse.
Yeah? What's that?
You found the greatest reward of all, the truth.
You found the spirit of Christmas.
What he says is, "Everyone gets what they deserve, Vic."
Ooh.
At the very least, stopping the request should provide some relief for the widow, Hawthorne.
Yes, of course. I should have work for you guys soon. I'm, of course, always listening for new opportunities. But in the meantime, if there's anything I can do to help young Zoey settle in, I'm at your service. I'm sorry if you were relying on some sort of payment. Unfortunately, that does not appear to be in the cards this time.
I put a skeleton in a box.
And I'm sorry for filling the town with ghosts. I was just really excited about finding that necromancer, and I thought he was in the box.
Yes, that is deeply troubling. I'm sure I'll be spending the foreseeable future trying to figure out some way to remedy that.
One solution may, unfortunately, or at least awkwardly, require the services of someone who knows the art of necromancy, or the forbane art of necromancy, depending on how they practice it.
It's quite a puzzle we have for ourselves, Brother Hawklight.
Well, puzzles exist to be solved, so.
Well, sometimes puzzles exist to test us. It's the paths it leads you down that are most important, more so than the solution.
Am I in trouble?
Have you done anything wrong, Sister Theodora? Should you be in trouble?
I opened a box of ghosts.
That is true. It seems as though he was trying to bait you into saying maybe no, and then he'd know if it was a lie. But you just stated a fact, so he just nods.
Oh man, I'm gonna get bountied in my sleep.
So in the structure of this campaign, what happens next is there's a downtime period where you all will kind of explore your own personal narratives, like the things you have going on that don't involve the group, and that will be the next episode.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, we'll probably do a time skip to the next mission proper.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things about this is it's not like one continuous journey to Mordor adventure. Everyone's living their lives in this town, and we'll just focus on the most interesting things. But for now, the ghosts are spreading throughout the town. You can't do anything about that presently. Maybe you will later. But right now, the Warden is working on that. So
is it possible to just do like the returning of the stuff to Hawthorne, like as a closing moment, or?
Yeah. Okay. So how about this? For the final scene, everybody tell me what you do after a successful mission or a completed mission, whether or not you judge this as a success because you did not bring anybody back. Although there's infinite possibilities. You definitely could have just arrested Alice.
Bumbershoot usually counts his reward or his baubles that he collected. In this case, it is only silverware.
Yeah.
The living skull is gone now.
Yeah. I mean, you also got some wine and cheese if you wanted it.
Nah.
I got the cheese.
I mean, I don't. Bumbershoot has no need for it, so he just let that go.
All right, so the scene is Bumbershoot returns to his room and just starts sorting the silverware into his collection of valuables.
Yeah, I mean, he also like remembered that silver might be useful for ghosts, so he's like, I meant to do that.
He's hanging the silverware all over his room to keep it from.
No. He actually is like unsure about how Rolen would feel about all the stolen stuff. So he just kind of like packs it away. He's not actually afraid of the ghosts because they couldn't actually do anything while they were inside them. He just kind of hates them because they're gross and they go inside him, and it's not polite. So there's that. And when he's done with that, he just goes to sleep. He's a little bummed because he didn't get everything he wanted.
Dora writes in her Ganny book, which is like a diary, but instead of Dear Diary, it starts with Dear Ganny to tell him about the ghosts she unleashed.
So yeah, Ganador is looking down on you, and we've established you can't really communicate out, but he can send messages in. So you finish up your journal entry, which presumably it can read like the silhouette of it through dimensions and like into by looking through the wall of light around Ilium. And so Ganador says at the completion of your entry,
Master the undead, subjugate the living.
And that's what you hear from him, Theodora.
Oh no, I'm undead.
I'm gonna look at Mr. Smooches and be like, oh, I don't even know how I'm supposed to do that, Mr. Smooches.
Mr. Smooches pulls his head back inside of his shell and goes to sleep.
Yeah, same buddy.
So you haven't received any word on your mission progress as far as corrupt the youth goes, but we'll explore that during your downtime scene if you want to advance either of those goals. You now have two very vague mission statements from your god.
Roland's going to touch base with Dora and be like, all right, Dora, I guess it's time to return the ring and painting back to Alice at least.
Okay. Also, can you drop this by the Warden on your way? And it's like a really big bag full of crabs, and it says, sorry about the ghosts, and embroidery on it.
Yeah, Roland will nod and be like, and I'm on duty for the next crab day as well, so.
Roland, you know that the Warden does not eat, so.
Yeah, like he will just accept it anyway, and then, make the gestures necessary on his own. I mean, he might drop off the crabs like with the lilies for free, just be like, just as something on the way.
All right, so there's a montage set to like indie rock of Roland walking around and returning things to people.
Yeah,
it's very tasteful.
I would assume that when he gets to the door, that like the ghost is there still.
Yeah, as you're walking across the yard, before you even get to the door, they swing open, and the ghost of Maximilian Hawthorne is standing there, just like staring into you. And behind him, you see the skeletons have gone back into kind of groundskeeper mode. And so they're like sweeping and cleaning and straightening all the mess that was made during the party. And there's skeletons patrolling the grounds. They've reformed and stuff. So the skeleton machinery is back in motion.
Roland will basically, and they'll hold up the painting in the ring and just say, can you show me where these belong?
And the door is shut behind you as Max beckons you in, and you return the stuff to the house.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine Zoe is going to be... she doesn't go back to the Avant Guard headquarters, actually. Instead, the scene I kind of imagine is she's outside Tarsus, and she's looking inside, and she's like first like looking at her palms, and then kind of like grabbing like a lock of her hair, which I think she's just now realized has changed color and everything like that.
Yeah.
And she just kind of like gives a sigh, like her shoulders just kind of feel like they're suddenly heavy, and she just kind of walks slowly into the Tarsus.
Okay, so she's going into the bar inside the hotel building.
Yeah, towards the bar
to make mischief. One last scene, and this is kind of like intercut with like her seeing her reflection and feeling her hair and walking towards the bar, and it's just this kind of intercut series of events I'm picturing of her like seeing the consequences of everything that's happened and feeling the weight of it and being kind of tempted by this kind of seedy place, and it cuts back to all of you guys leaving the sacrum after your meeting with the warden at the end of the mission. And as you guys are leaving, the warden kind of pulls you aside and just says, Sister Legrand, I meant it when I said you can come if you need anything. I just want you to feel like you can count on me. Is that okay?
All right, I have an idea for what's going to happen. I feel like this is going to be super cheesy.
Mm-hmm.
And I apologize in advance for that.
Uh-huh.
But like the logic being that this scene got interjected in there.
Uh-huh.
So like as we go back, Zoe's walking towards the Tarsus like she's about to go for a drink.
Yeah.
And instead she stops and she sees Noe, who's been initiated into the lilies, and she just kind of watches her from afar and sees her kind of being accepted, and then kind of like puts her hands in her pocket and just kind of walks away back towards the Avant Guard headquarters with like a small smile on her face.
Nice. In the other scene, the warden says, everyone around here just calls me the warden because I keep all the bad people locked away. But you can call me Warden Light or just Light. Everywhere I go, I try to spread the warmth and love of our gods.
What do I roll for Bumbershoot to know how to murder an angel?
The perfect, most treasured question I have ever heard.
Would it be Arcana?
No, it's 100. It's religion.
9. He has very average knowledge of angels. Or below average.
All right, so Bumbershoot, you're kept awake at night. We're thinking about how all of your party members have kept you from personal gain, and how Garrick pisses you off, and an angel bosses you around, and all of the fiends in town don't respect you. And you get up and you march over and you find a book and you start flipping through it, and you're trying to figure out how to kill an angel. And with a 9, what you know is they are resistant to most things. They are resistant to physical attacks. They are resistant to magic. They are resistant to emotional attacks. There's very little you can do. Like out of character, like the weakest angel in the monster manual could take like a level 15 team. Like they start final boss and go up from there.
Okay.
So Bumbershoot, your research is very disheartening. It's not impossible, but you do not think you have or know how to get any of the means to do that. It's not off the table, but something is going to have to happen to significantly change your power level. The only thing that comes to mind is you do know someone with a sacred artifact blessed by a dragon god.
Yeah.
Which is very powerful. That's the closest thing you can think of to kind of the boost you would need.
Yeah.
But it's not great. And I think as this realization settles down over you, I think maybe you start to feel hungry.
Oh, yeah.
So everybody's been waiting for it. In a sense, everything we've done now has been kind of annoying people because it's not this. So I want to end the episode with this simple question. Who are you going to kill?
I have a good idea about who I want to kill, but I want to think it over and also listen to the episode again so I don't fuck anything up. So, but the answer is someone's about to die.
As always, I'd like to thank Overclocked Remix for our music, which includes Acoustic Jam at the Lucifer Alpha, an arrangement of Biohazard from Snatcher, Simply Be Grooved, an arrangement of Simple and Clean from Kingdom Hearts, and In the Beginning There Was Jazz, an arrangement of Beginning from Castlevania. Executive producers for the month of April 2017 are Kirstine Haslinger, Extellaris, Joseph Timbrello, Andrew Grothin, Jade, The Cult of Gorfanax, Irving Royale, Paul Mullen, Finch DeYoung, Arjun de Koning, Luke Powers, Michael Goodell, Brent, Ripter Stormwolf, Miko Kurjo Kangas, Dennis Bengston, Josh Mosier, Endigo Van Dane, James Bevan, Allison Ansell, Sydney Marsing, Just a Jester, John Potts, Kevin Dobbins, Savarden Akrasimova, Carl, Brady Warner, Kitty Foe, James Neely, Eugene T., Marissa Donaldson, Melanie Joe, Lana Seawolf, Toby Gleason Stack, Ruby Offer, Matthew Weber, Sarah Hanley, Melissa Booker, Cameron Abbas, Dylan, Gary Sayon, Anna Stuhlfarer, Sean the host of Funk Dunk, Giorgio Renna, Harrison Andrew, Kevin Seidlow, Christopher Charlo, Jorit, Viger Arnston, Cody Jackson, August Rue, Athos, and Ingmar Grumman. If you want to be added to this list, you can support the show at patreon.com/Austin Yorski, and you can support Leon at patreon.com/RenegadeCut. And you can also find Chris at patreon.com/Weekly Manga Recap. You can also help out by finding us on iTunes, Google Play, Podbean, YouTube, or wherever else you found the show, and liking, rating, or leaving a comment. Every little bit helps, and word of mouth is the only way anyone ever finds out about us. What would an ad for this show even sound like? Yes, come listen to a video game critic pretend to be a lesbian elf. Actually, there's probably a market for that.